It's really close.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wow.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Oh, who's that?
There we go, spotlight.
You sent it to me?
I just shared it with you. All right, you want to call the order?
Good to go, all right,
Yeah.
we will call this meeting to order at 6:02. Our emergency evacuation procedures in this special room. I will leave to Mr.
Yeah.
Cutler.
If you need to exit the room in an emergency, you can go back out the door you came in, go back out, and actually right through this door, right there's another door that goes right outside. Easy exit.
Sir, we've got 3 different sets of minutes tonight. Those had a chance to look.
Do you want to call roll?
Oh, sorry, I skipped.
You don't mind?
Let's call the roll. Ann Dixon. Alita Hall.
Yeah.
Anna Isabel Dos Reis Kutu. We've got Amy Anzalone.
Yeah.
Kristen Bagley. Christine Kennedy. Phil Conti. Krista Verna. Good evening. Richard Hool.
Here.
You. Russell Hill.
How did he able to come?
James Pearson.
Here.
Megan Cross.
Here.
See? Oh,
CR.
I thought it was, okay.
Oh, CE, I'll do this too.
Dan Perillo was out tonight. I am here. Don Coward.
Here.
Here. Steve Nestorak.
What's up?
There you are. And our other new member, Kaylee Kuzma.
Here.
All right.
So in your packet, is it the front page is the agenda, but everything else of the 3 sets of minutes from the 4th, the 11th, and the 28th. We weren't able to vote last time because we didn't have a quorum. I think with our new members, though, I think we are okay with voters. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're all set. If you want to look through those. Mr. Pearson, you can correct me if I'm.
Kristen, come over
Kristen's
here.
right there. And Kristen, you're a voter too, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. I think the new members can vote on the minutes, even though they weren't at the meeting, because it's the function of the body to pass the minutes. Am I right about that?
That's the Robert's rules, but yes. I've heard some town attorneys give
Yeah.
opposite opinions
Yeah.
and they're foolish for doing.
I think I looked it up at one point.
Robert's rules says, yeah, your job is to vote on what's before the big body, whether you were there or not. So yes, they don't have to.
Amy, can I have a copy? Are there any corrections or additions?
No? All right. Anybody finish up? Okay. All right, can we motion to take these as a block or?
I move, we take these as a block.
A second?
All right, a motion and a second, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, minutes are approved. All right, next item up, we have selection of community members. We want to discuss.
Yeah, so
Our
I
new
think
members.
this is a good opportunity to do 2 things, if you don't mind me jumping in here. I think we should go around the table and introduce ourselves. And maybe just like a 10-second of like who we are and what we do, so our new people know like who they're dealing with. And then I think we should give our 2 new members like an opportunity to just say something about yourself so that, everybody knows what's going on. Maybe JP, you can explain, we had 1 vacancy, but we ended up with 2 good candidates and we were allowed to add 2 people. And I think your solicitor went through the process of examining whether that was permissible, and turned out it was.
Did it by resolution, yeah.
Yeah, so we added 2 new members, which is great, because
Yeah.
when we have situations and
Yeah.
we need
It
voters.
was interesting timing because we
Yeah.
didn't have that last time.
That's
and then
right.
I came up and we're always tough to get people to volunteer, so
Yeah.
having two good people, what could we do?
Yeah.
It was a good choice, so,
We both appreciate it.
no,
Very
absolutely,
much so.
yeah.
So I'll go first. I'm Don Coward. I'm the superintendent. Before I've been superintendent, this is my 4th year. Before that, I was assistant superintendent. Before that, I was director of curriculum. Before that, I was principal at Washington Oak, and then before that, I was much younger. And they started our very first building committee, I think was in 2018. Does that sound right, Phil?
Yeah.
18?
Yeah.
And I was the director of curriculum, and I was on the committee in that role. And I think Amy was on the committee in the role of principal. She was at Western, and I've been on basically ever since. So we've had new faces come and go, but for some of us, we've been here the entire time. And I'm kind of like the one who manages the paperwork and the agenda and anything else. So if there's any questions about what we're doing, or if there's something we can do in addition to what is, typically happening, I'd be happy to help facilitate that.
Hi, I'm Kristen Bagley. I'm the principal at Western Coventry Elementary. I'm also a resident here in town. I started on the building committee. This is my 5th year at Western, so I think I started when I started there, and at the time I had kids in the schools, so I was a parent and a employee, and so it's been great to be part of this team.
Hi, I'm Amy Anzalone. I am also a Coventry resident. This is my 37th year in Coventry. I was a teacher for 24 years, a principal for 8, director of curriculum for 2, and I've been assistant superintendent for 3. Both my boys went through the school, lived here for a long time, lived in Oak Haven neighborhood. Now I live by the high school. So
Jace Pearson, chairman of the school committee, been on school committee longer than I care to admit. Both my children went to Coventry Public Schools. I'll leave it at that.
Philip Conte, architect with Studio Jade, and have been working with Coventry since 2018 on a series of RIDE submissions for stage 1, stage 2. Helped pass the successful bond, and now moving into stage 3 for many of the projects that we have.
Awesome. I'm Megan Gross. My kids are gonna be going to Western. It's really nice to meet you.
Great.
Yeah,
We're both biased, but.
I work for Shawmut Design and Construction. My specialty lately has been with RIDE, the school department systems. So I hope I can bring all of that knowledge here to help you guys assist, and yeah.
Good. I'm Steve Nestorak. I'm the owner's project manager, turning on Townsend area.
Richard Hool, Coventry Town Council. That's it.
I am Kaylee Cousineau. I work for Lockheed Architectural Solutions. I am a project manager in glass and glazing. I have 2 kids in the school system currently. I have one at Ty Oak and one at the high school. So I'm looking forward to being a part of this team here.
JP Verducci, Town Council. Been on this committee for probably about a year now. And I have to say, it's one of the best groups of people, because we get a lot of stuff done in a short amount of time. There's actual things we can look at being accomplished. Everybody works great together. So, welcome to our new folks, and thank you to everyone else, because I think this has been going pretty well for projects this size. So take it away.
I'm Alina Hall. I'm a project executive at Gilbane. I also build buildings, so I felt like that was the reason to join here. I was on the original committee. Was it 2018? Geez, I know pre-COVID. I mean, I know COVID came, and so I guess so, yeah. My youngest is in 5th grade at Western. My oldest is now a freshman and I'm at LaSalle, but I can attest to these 2 ladies and the product that Western puts out, so don't worry.
Oh, cool.
Yes. It's fun.
So cool.
I'm Chris DeVerna. I'm the Director of Finance for Coventry Public Schools. Been a Coventry resident since 2005. Both of my kids are in the school system. They're about to graduate from the high school and the middle school this year. Practically, enjoy the work that this committee does. So.
All right, well, welcome again. Let's get to it. We like to cruise right through here. I did tell you last night to bring snacks, but I guess.
Well, I came from Boraville.
All right.
So maybe next time.
All right.
You know.
It's only was Thursday.
And you.
That was like the Three Stooges last night. That was.
I'm really good with my calendar.
That was terrible. Well, hopefully we all know what day it is now. There's no more blizzards ever.
You did only give me 1 day's notice.
I know.
Yeah.
And no directions how to get in.
Look, it's a self-guided kind of thing. So thank you all for that. This is always a fun part of our discussion. So we hire this guy and he tells us what's going on from our point of view and keeps things moving for us. What do you got tonight?
All right,
Always have
well,
fun.
you know, you like the
He's
quality
got
of paper that I distribute, so.
I hope he's still-
Keep up. You can take one and pass one around.
Look at this.
The
How much we pay for this?
There we go again. Yes.
Still go right to
Yeah.
Speaking my language, AIA. Documents, AREX.
We're doing one at a time.
Take that, pass it down, take the whole package.
Thanks for you.
There you go.
Thank you.
This is my jam.
Get very upset.
Yeah, Steve kills it with the paper.
Right,
It's not part of the public school.
I do enjoy
This is
a
only
paper.
damn
I do love a paper.
I can't stop not doing. it.
No, you can't, yeah.
Cause then you're gonna say I don't love you. So I have to keep it up. You know, for some of the new members, this is just a one-page summary that I just do at the beginning of the month. We do have weekly meetings, and this is kind of the report out of it. So some of the details that Phil and I go through with the contractor and the district team, you know, I'll spare you those details. So on the left, it's just kind of where we are in the process. We're really doing building survey and construction. These are kind of the people involved. And then I kind of report out the project budget. And the first thing over to the right, for this month, the status and next steps, we have a change order. This committee approved having the contractor submit a change order for builder's risk insurance for $2,500. So it was previously approved. It's been signed off by Bill and I and was sent over to Dan for execution. So that raised the total contract amount to just under 2.9 million. The second, and so I just provided a copy for full transparency of what that change order looked like. Any questions, comments on that? The second kind of status or update is Delta Mechanical and their engineers going through and doing a survey. So they're like measuring, doing field measurements and those types of things. And the second attachment is meant to show what they reported out just this past week as to their progress. So you can see they're about 80% done. And so they're working this week through the last of like the trades or workshop areas that were left. So that's progressing well. No real significant issues and everything seems to be progressing on schedule. Bill, if you have anything to add on that.
No, I would just open it up to Don if he's gotten any negative reports from any staff members or.
Zero.
Yeah.
It's like they're not even there. And from Russ's perspective, our facilities director, he said they're doing their job. They seem to be hitting it hard, like right out of the gate. There's no like hanging around trying to, scratching heads, what's gonna happen next. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful that they get this done ahead of schedule because they just seem to be so on top of it.
Okay, that's good to hear. They do check in, sign in, they do a huddle. So Harry, the second shift supervisor works under Russ. They cover things that went well and what they're gonna do that evening. So the reporting from Russ has been positive, so. And then the last, or the third attachment is the contractor. This is the initial pay app. Which is about 188,000. Again, it has a schedule of values. The only thing I'd highlight here is, there's a question raised of whether there's, whether the contractor needs to pay the permit, and Dan is, following up on that at the town. Sometimes those permits are waived. So if it's waived, there, potentially would be a credit back on the contract. If it's not waived, then the contractor's prepared to pay it, so. So Dan said he was checking with his folks and he'd let us know. So that's the only kind of open issue on the pay app. The permit's not included in this payment application, but it would be on the next one.
So then, does this go to the town council for them to vote on the pay?
Yes, so I think that's what Dan and I were communicating is that Bill signed off on it, the contractor signed off on it, so and I signed off on it, and I gave it to Dan, and I think it'll go on the next agenda, which will be, I don't know, in 2 weeks, maybe, or 1 week.
Next week.
We had an off schedule because of the blizzard, and now
Oh.
we're in like back to back, so we're in a ton the next
Okay,
probably 2 weeks. We have
Yeah.
budget stuff, so if there's something that needs to be done.
Do we know the cost of the permit?
I think there's an allowance for 20,000 in the schedule of values, but I think the estimate's right around 13,000.
So,
The one thing I want, go ahead.
Oh,
so the town would be receiving the $20,000, but then the school building would be paying it, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, like, could we pass a resolution waiving, like, it doesn't have to be up to the end, the council themselves can
Mm.
probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because if we're
It's-
just charging the school 20,000 just to bill it on the back end, it's almost like,
Is there anything in the specification that states who's responsible for it?
in the contract,
generally it would be the contract.
the contractor's carrying it. And then usually we get to this step, and the town either waives it because it's for the school district, or they say they charge it, so.
I wanna make-
State.
I want to make
Yeah.
clear,
That's what I was-
there's one more thing to the permit thing. That 20,000 includes the state ADA permit,
That you
which,
can't waive, yeah.
which is not waived. So
That's a good point, yeah.
I believe, yes, you could do whatever you want as a council to waive the permit fees, but don't expect a credit of 20,000.
Yeah.
Because some of that money is for the state.
Yeah,
That's right.
no, save us on the bond side at least though, right? If we
I
can-
think,
That's what it means, supposed to be, like, tying up a bond
Fred
for-
from Delta estimated around
13,000,
Yeah.
yeah, for,
As the state fee?
No, as the local.
yeah,
For the
state's like
local, the ADA, I don't
0.1%.
know what that would be on.
It's-
It's like 0.1%.
0.1%,
It'll
yeah.
be like 3,000. And then Steve, you said it wasn't included, but they are billing it in this 20,000 in full.
It is, it is
100%.
100% go.
Oh, I couldn't take that back, yeah.
Mm.
I missed that. So I think that,
I got one pedantic question on that.
Mark up the rate.
Difference between the sprinkler labor and sprinkler replacement labor? Just curious.
Maybe there's some fabrication. Has to go along with the system.
yeah, because they're replacing heads in the existing system.
Yeah, there is an
area.
existing system, partial in place
Gotcha.
and new. So I think
More
The-
details
the-
better,
the-
so it's good.
it looks like
Yeah.
they have two material labors, one for
Yeah.
replacement and then material labor, one for new.
Gotcha.
So that's how they broke out their fee. So let me ask the question, when is if the town council were to waive the permit,
Hmm.
when would that meeting?
We have one Monday, we have
Yeah.
one Tuesday, we have one the
Let's do
following
that.
Monday, the following
So
Tuesday.
I'd almost maybe be inclined to see if that meeting happens. And then if they say yes, they'll waive the fee,
Change the.
then I'll mark this up to take it out.
I don't see it being smart to charge the,
You're paying yourself
It's-
or
and we're
charging
tying up
yourself.
a bond. I'm gonna put it forward, I'm telling you, I'm gonna put it forward. to
Okay.
waive this.
Providence.
Yeah,
they- they-
doesn't make sense.
JP's
Cities,
probably more likely gonna
Providence.
support it, right? We don't wanna talk council
I-
business here, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
Oh, no,
Alita's got a good point too.
I was just saying, I just
Yeah.
did East Providence, Newport, I'm at a school in Providence now, all the municipalities waive the fee.
Yeah, don't fill it.
Yeah, Providence
Except
did
Pawtucket,
do it.
Yeah, well,
Except Pawtucket.
Except Pawtucket doesn't do
Yeah,
it.
that's interesting.
Doesn't-
I'm gonna-
Yeah, there are,
But that's
bus-
their
it's,
business.
I'll email Dan now just as a.
just to add it on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So then
You
what
gotta
I'll
get it on
do is
Friday,
I
right? Your
will,
agenda goes out
I
Friday.
will work with
amend
Delta
this.
to amend it. We have a
Yeah.
call with them tomorrow, so
Right.
we'll get this fixed. I will execute it.
It's like we can be our own bank here versus borrowing money. It's silly.
And what you do when they file it, they at your permit, the building department here will run it and they calculate the state fee. And they send it back to the sub and they do collect the state fee usually, the ADA, they say, hey, here it is. And then when the state comes, looking to them for all of their fees, they have it collecting it. So they'll do it, they'll send him the payment receipt right from the system and then you'll know the actual amount for the credit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good discussion, that's how we do
So I
it. Every
think
penny
when the
counts.
discussion and vote for the school committee and the school building committee to make the recommendation to the town council to approve. Is that correct, Bill and Steve? Are we looking for a vote here, or is it just asking for,
I think we already voted on this.
so the town council just needs to vote?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, on the pay app, no.
Yeah.
We did not vote on the pay app.
I make a motion.
We voted, we approved the builder's risk,
Approve it with the contingency of waiving the permit fee or something like
adjusting the
that.
permit as appropriate.
I would approve it either way. I think it needs to move forward, whether the council waives it or doesn't waive it. I wouldn't add the stipulation here. We'll go back to work on the town side to
Mhm.
ensure that we can get it on that end, but I wouldn't add the stipulation
Yeah,
here.
it's in your best interest.
I would just make a motion to
Send it to the town council.
recommend the payment for the fire suppression contract of approval of town council at the next meeting.
I mean, you ultimately there's enough money left to bill whatever the credit is. So if you okay paying up front for it, I guess it doesn't matter the size contract and the
Mm.
balance.
So you just need a second then for that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All right, I just emailed Dan, so he knows it's coming, so that's all I have to add, and.
Yeah, Dan has this.
Yeah.
And
He
he's,
just does a
he
reminder.
did,
Give him the
he
heads up
did
that,
respond a few
Get
days
it on
ago.
the docket.
So let me know, and I thought he was here tonight, but.
All right then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Do you have more discussion or more
No, that,
nice paper?
that's concludes the report out unless you have something else.
Yeah, I'll talk about it when we get to this part.
Okay.
I'll go quickly through the next ones and then if Philly, if you want to jump in with anything, you can. So part of that, equity initiative grant was we already did the science lab, so we already did the gym. The only thing left in that grant is the lighting in the auditorium. There's a production happening next weekend, and then after that, the auditorium should be pretty clear for us to get in there and do what we need to do. Typically, I mean, the expiration date on that is June. It doesn't have to be completed in June, but it has to get started in June. So, we need to get moving on that over the next few months, as soon as that production's over.
Hmm.
And really what we need to do first is just inspect the rigging, which I've talked about before. And if that goes through and it doesn't need to be replaced, then we can really focus on the lighting in the whole space. If the rigging needs to be replaced, then that is probably going to change the scope of the project because there's only a certain dollar amount. And so we'd have to adjust the cost of the rigging to take on anything else. And then any money that would be potentially left over, and I'm not sure if there will be, the other part of that project was to do any additional updates to the sound system, if available. So that's the auditorium. Fire suppression, we just talked about that a lot. I don't know if there's anything else I need to add to that. Phil, do you want to talk about the roof?
Can I just inform you on the sprinkler, this note here says that the sprinkler work is gonna be done in the summer, but if you're gonna get in the auditorium as early as whatever, are you gonna be able to sequence that during?
So we actually talked about trying to find a way to to maximize disruption and maybe even work together.
I like it.
Disruption, maximize
Teaching
work.
and learning,
Yeah.
maximize teaching and learning.
Yeah, and having everybody in there together, because there's gonna be scaffolding and our lights are up in the rafters.
Yeah,
and
everybody on
so
the same stage.
if they're all gonna be up there anyways, if we can find a way to make that all happen.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to
Sometime.
just.
Yeah, that's part of the report out that we're working with Harry and Russ on, is the staging for their lighting to coordinate with that.
Mhm.
And then we've also coordinated with Brooke and others on what's being scheduled in the gym, so we have our window that the contractors baked into their summer schedule for the auditorium and gym.
Nice. Worst case scenario, if the auditorium is moving slow, we could always submit for an extension, which we've done before, and they've never had a problem giving. It's just the school committee takes the vote. I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think if we're substantially kind of moving along, even if the date that it completes is after June, I think we should be fine. Fire suppression, anything else with that? That'd be good. And then, Phil, roof?
Sure, so this is a discussion topic for this group. So the middle school roof is going to be a large project in terms of its extensive area that needs to be replaced. We should talk about the expectation for the end of summer school year in the event roof work is not complete. For example, there are like a series of options. One, you could say, Phil, we're only going to do half the roof this summer. So when you bid it out as this summer for this half, next summer, the other half. And you would stay with this single contractor and we would have to build in some kind of escalation clause. Another option is, Phil, we're going to split it in half. Contractor A this summer and bid out the other half next summer, which could be contractor B. Third option is we bid it all out. Contractor A gets it. However, if we're only 3/4 of the way done at the end of the summer, what is the appetite for the school administration for roof work to continue while the building's occupied, which will likely be field work, not just remaining trim work that can be done, relatively quietly. Is there room in the middle school to swing students in or out of?
There's room to swing like classrooms. I couldn't swing a whole grade. I couldn't swing a whole wing. There's not enough flex space in there for that. If there was a space, let's say you were over the gym, we could figure that out, right? The kids are gonna go outside, they're gonna go here, we could figure that out. Or if you're over like 3 classrooms, but beyond that, I mean, it's a 800, 900 kid school with not a lot of, just space laying around, so. And I guess it also depends on what that disruption looks like in terms of sound and
Sure,
also
so
like, the
I-
footprint.
Like I said, this is a very good building committee because you have some real technical expertise at the table. So I want to hear some opinions and thoughts and.
Option 1, I think, is your least dangerous. Option 2, bringing in 2 different contractors, I get concerned if there's an overlay or if there's an issue. Contractor A is gonna blame contractor B and vice versa, and now we have some litigation issues. Just by Mr. Cowart said, option 3 to me would be too disruptive to the teachers and the students. Option 1, I think, is 1 contractor, 2 different periods
With escalation.
with an escalation.
Is there a reason, like, if we bid it out, why wouldn't we ask them for separate crews and they can do 2 separate areas concurrent this summer and get it done?
They could SummerSlam.
Yeah, so you get the right contractor, yes, you could probably get that done. You get a different contractor, they may be challenged to do that. I would not recommend liquidated damages or stuff like that in the contract. We've not really had much luck with that.
How many contractors in the state do this kind of work?
Well, reputable, large ones,
Well, I think
half a
that's
dozen,
preferable.
half a dozen.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think,
What-
on the state bid list.
What's the mobilization like on something like this? Cause you'd be paying that twice, right?
They have a crane, because you gotta get the
Yeah.
stuff off and you gotta get the insulation and stuff, so you wanna do that, like in the summer, set up and get everything loaded up there.
So you might have 2 different cost mobilization. The first one might.
Yeah,
not
you'd
be
have
so-
a section.
Yeah,
mobilization of-
I would say mobilization costs would be minimal though. These guys don't come
Really?
in with
Okay.
trailers and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
they're
it's really
pretty
just a crane. It's
self-contained.
Another crane day. They gotta come in, set it, and then they're gonna do it
Better
twice
like that.
anyway. They're something to take their trash off the roof usually.
Yeah.
We have them put it, they stage it, tie it down, and then when the time comes they're done, the crane comes and cause you can't just throw trash off.
So
So,
there's a little bit of a gamble. I mean, there are plenty of companies that could say, man, I could hit that in the summer. Yeah, it's all I do this summer and all my crews will be there. But then you're taking a gamble that you don't have a week or 2 of rain and,
mhm.
Yeah, when-
stuff like that, that bleeds into the school year.
But if you if you set it, if you are able to get it and procure it, I mean, once you get to a certain point, there's an initial, I think, disruptiveness, like you're gonna have new units I saw too, right? So you want the units there, you wanna get all that flashed in and anything like that. So that's early though, but once you get to the point where the insulation's down, we're doing full
Mhm,
roof, a new,
Yeah,
new sub. and
Cause there's one
base
roof
and
over
big-
another roof, right? So cause we need to deal with that void, right? So
well,
gonna
you've
peel it
got a
down
lot of
and
wet
get down to
insulation,
roof
so
depth.
we're gonna go down to we're gonna probably go down to the asphalt roof that is on the Tectum deck. And that asphalt roof will stay as the vapor barrier, and then we'll put new insulation and a new built-up roof over top of it. So,
They bury under that, okay, so it'd be like the cover board is the Tectum, the asphalt is the.
is the vapor barrier, and then we'll put our new 6 inches of insulation and then our built-up roof over top of it. It's single story, so it's not, you know,
Oh, they might
great.
just throw the trash off the roof. then.
they may, yeah, so.
especially if you have a chute with a dump.
Yeah, they might be able to
It's
get a
just been,
easier system.
my experience with this size roof that is cut up as it is. You may run the risk of them not being finished in the summer, which means it's gonna bleed into the school year. And how can you handle that disruption? So you either gamble or you preemptively set it up a certain way.
Has the roof been tested for asbestos?
I think that's
Yeah.
ongoing.
Yeah, I think that
Now we're
happened. I had Vortex come out and drill
Yeah,
test holes. I don't think there's any asbestos up there.
because that just prolongs the process, is all I'm trying to say. I
Yeah,
don't know the layout of where the auditorium is compared to the gym. Are they on the same side?
No, of course not.
They're on the opposite side.
Yes.
Wonderful. Cause I was gonna say, you could target, the areas that are not the
Yeah.
gymnasium
That's a
and
good
the
idea,
auditorium,
yeah.
and then if it does bleed into the school year, like you were saying, maybe we don't occupy those areas.
Right, because during the day, the auditorium was almost always empty,
Mhm.
unless we are doing something significant or we're preparing for a play or something. And the gym is used, but if the weather's nice, we can get the kids outside.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, so that's not bad. That, we will build into the drawings a sequence. This is sequence 1, sequence 2, and 3. And we'll make the bidders aware that if you get this job, you can't start with the auditorium roof. You gotta save that for the end.
yeah.
In the event you don't make it, this would be done during the school year. As long as you're comfortable with some construction extending into the school year and you can explain that to anybody who may have concerns.
Right, which would require like a conversation of what exactly that looks like, right?
Yeah, and really, we won't know that till like
Right.
mid-July.
Yeah.
As you get to the beginning of August, hey, you gonna make it? Or no, we're gonna go to the middle of September.
And like, do you guys want a new roof? With no
Yeah,
leaks?
yeah, at some point,
Right.
it's like,
Gotta rise.
and again, they're outside too, I mean, I've been working in and out, like, you do it in occupied schools all the time and you find a way. And we are obtrusive within an actual building sometimes, but if it's a matter of the leftover, what are you gonna do, like a fully adhered or like a rental?
No, it'll be probably fully adhered, built up roof a little bit, and SBS roof.
Well, I'm just thinking if it's like
Yeah.
a schedule thing and they say, hey, we could do it faster. With that, maybe that's just something to discuss when we're talking to bidders after we get the numbers.
Exactly, because they'll have incentives to get done too.
That's
They
what
don't
I'm
want,
saying.
they don't want to be here any longer than they need to be here themselves.
Are we
Yeah.
allowed to put in incentives?
I don't think you need to put
Yeah.
incentives, just like you wouldn't put in liquidated damages.
Either.
Yeah.
I mean, the companies that are gonna bid and be able to bond something like this are major reputable roofing contractors who have no interest in staying here any longer than they need to.
Yeah.
So you don't need additional motivation for
No,
them to.
that would just be a waste of your money.
When do you anticipate it going out for bid?
I think we wanna target probably April-ish.
Do you expect any supply chain issues?
Well, pending a major conflict in the Middle East and oil, but
And
no,
tariffs.
other than that,
Tariffs.
And the installation is like way down, it was up to like some ridiculous amount, but
That's
guys,
all.
they're like 4 weeks. at this
there's
point.
plenty of excuses if they want to,
Mhm.
but I don't.
Has history shown the committee approving like overtime and Saturdays? Is that favorable for some?
Would that be considered overtime, though?
Right, like what, like 10-hour days or Saturdays, just like if we
Like
get
it's
to
that
the
much
end.
premium time?
Maybe that's part of the
Of-
discussion though, right? For a roofer, like, hey,
Yeah.
like we know weather and forecasting, if we know we're gonna have a washout, then your contract is either you work, you
Yeah.
know, 4/10.
Make up the time.
To
Make up the
make sure,
time.
cause you know you're gonna lose a day, we pay attention, maybe that can be a discussion to have to make sure that we don't lose schedule days potentially.
So we did that with the gym, right? When we got to the end,
Mhm.
we needed to make up some time. And so our contractors were super flexible because they wanted to be done too. They were coming in early morning, they were coming in Saturdays, they would sometimes do 2 shifts, right? A first crew would come and go, and next crew would come in and stay, for another 4 to 6 hours, so.
The one last thing I'd add to this, which we could probably give them some leeway on, is the edge metal and the final trim. It's not uncommon for that to extend into the school year. And that is usually not invasive.
Mm.
It's usually like 2 guys, they really not making any noise, and they're going around the edge of the roof. So if we explain to the bidders that we have a sequence, do this, this, and this, save these 2 for last, because we're worried about schedule, and we're okay if the edge metal extends into the school year, then I think you're fine. And I think we roll, we hit it one time, that'll get you the best price.
Mm.
And I
And we
think we're
still
okay.
start by asking for concurrent crews. Like, there's not a reason they have to finish, like, put a crew on installation. So that when they go, they're doing that, and that way you're just continuing to go, not gonna do one area, put the insulation down, do the
Yeah.
rubber, all of that, and then go do the next area. They have 2 separate crews, one, like, you know what I mean? You can, most of them will sequence it
Yes.
to get it done.
You're hired for this. You're
Yeah.
gonna be the GC on this project.
Oh, then I'm gonna go
She's
right away.
she's gonna get it done.
The roofers
I mean, I haven't heard Shamit's bid yet. What's Shamit's bid on the project?
I don't do roofs, so.
Isn't Christine also Shamit?
Yeah.
She was running late. I was.
Gilbane, Shaman, we're well covered
I
here.
say Coventry is
We're well
well represented,
represented.
and powerful women, right? It's not just like in the industry, it's women in the industry.
It's women in construction.
That's right.
Cheers.
Yes, so.
Is it? Is it?
It
really?
is,
Yeah.
Oh, see that?
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's this week already.
it is
Crap,
this
it's already the first
week. My
week of March.
company put out our post today. That's the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
reason I
they were
remember.
gonna put you on a list.
Yeah, I
and I'm
think
like,
you're on it, by the
what?
way.
What is
I
this?
think you're on it because I saw it when I was coming in. I'm like.
Yes, I am on it.
Yeah,
My
I
favorite
thought so.
project as of late, which was Connecticut College. So
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, so that's the plan. So
Yeah.
that's my update for the middle school roof.
And then the Western Well is sort of an interesting thing. So, we submitted an application to Rido. They had a bunch of comments and questions that got sent back. And then Northeast Water just basically is now responding to each one of them individually. And then if they need clarification, it's all very technical and stuff I don't understand. They talk about specific, valves and units and things like that.
Understand then.
What's that?
How does RIDE understand then?
They have, they're not Rido.
Oh,
Department
oh,
of
okay.
Health.
I was
Yeah.
like, that makes
So
sense.
it's going back and forth, but the questions are being answered. I just think it's part of this process. But that's another project that if we can get ourselves going, could be something that's happening this summer as well. The other thing is, for the new folks, and just to reiterate for everyone else, it's in our bond. But we were seeking a grant with EPA because Western has gone with so many no water shutdowns over a fairly short amount of time for manganese and everything else. It qualified for a grant, and so EPA is supposed to work with the infrastructure bank to sort of like expedite and pay for this project, which actually takes that now back out. But as like a safety net, Northeast also had me sign off an application for us to look for funding from the state as well as sort of like a backup if something were to fall through in the beginning. So their goal and hope is that, this is not going to end up hitting our bond in terms of costs.
Outside of infrastructure bank, another entity?
Yeah, like, I wish I could remember the terminology
Had a
he gave
drinking
me.
water fund thing? or-
I asked actually about the
Yeah.
drink, because there's a drinking water initiative. I emailed that guy too. He's with the infrastructure bank,
right.
Aaron
So-
something. There's another fund that the state has for certain types of projects and I can't remember what it's called, but I
Okay.
filled out the
So two
application.
shots at this.
Right,
state
because he
bond.
just really wants to make sure that we exhaust any option we
Yeah.
can to get this,
That's-
paid for.
I get
And
it.
the number is actually way better than we originally, I think at first we were like 1 million, then we were like 750. He's got it all kind of listed out, soup to nuts at like 510.
What's a timeline?
It's all contingent on approvals, and
Did
then
we
once,
get the easement approval? Did we?
I
handle
know
all
the
that?
letter went out, actually, I think 2 letters went out, but I don't know anything else about whether it was approved or if something was
Like if
received.
it was up to me, I would do
this.
this well before I replace the roof.
I'm hoping that we're doing them at the same time, like, I
That'd be
don't think,
amazing, but that well needs to be on the top
Oh,
of
yeah.
all of our.
it is. Yeah, the well project has been on our list. for
Shunning our
years.
children with this.
Yeah.
It's sad.
My son, who's now in ninth grade, has had well letters ever since he was at Western. I'm just.
We hate sending well letters.
We're gonna get it before, how many years do we have? One more year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Don, one thing I want to make sure we're tracking is all right, depending upon where the money comes, will depend upon whether you're eligible for reimbursement from RIDE. So
Yeah, I
if
know.
this is all federal grant money, it is not
Correct,
RIDE reimbursable.
correct.
If it's bond money, then it is RIDE reimbursable.
Mhm.
But if it wants to be RIDE reimbursable, which means you're using your bond money,
Mhm.
that should be submitted to the RIDE portal.
Mhm.
What I may suggest is for projects that are under 500,000,
Mhm.
it is an expedited one-time review.
Yeah,
Maybe it would be in
Just submit
the
it.
best interest to have any estimate you have adjusted,
Mhm.
and we submit it. At least you have approval
Mhm.
for reimbursement if you need it. If
Mhm.
you don't, then you just never submit it. And if RIDE asks, you can say, oh, we got
Mhm.
that grant funded.
Yep.
Um,
I can forward you the application that I have.
yeah, if you want to, I'm happy to submit that to
Mhm.
the RIDE portal.
Mhm. If we go the EPA route with the infrastructure bank, the bills never even see us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
at that meeting, Chris, right? The bills go right to the infrastructure bank and get cut straight out of there. Because the EPA funds the bank. They do everything it's handled at that point. Chris had to submit a bunch of documentation in terms of us being approved, through the bank for the process, but we don't actually process anything or approve anything in terms of voting for payments or.
Is there an opportunity, if you do get that funded elsewhere and you have money set aside for Western to pave that end, I mean, it's
Mhm.
terrible. Like, is there an opportunity to shift that money?
I think that's
to
the.
another-
Oh, yeah, we
that's
have
the
all
building
of that
committee.
in the
So it's all
MOA.
in there?
So we have, in the MOA, we have money at every school. And the money we have at every school, we've purposefully put it in categories that are,
Flexible.
yes, flexible. So we can pick up site improvements at wherever.
Yeah, just in the front, it's
There's
just terrible.
plenty to do.
But, yeah, I'm just.
There's plenty to
You
do.
could, even if you had to call, I was thinking of that, but what if you had to say we had to, rip up the asphalt because of the well? So,
I get
like,
what I just want to make sure is that to maintain your eligibility for reimbursement, we want to go through the portal as correctly as possible.
Mhm.
So.
Where does the easement, who is the easement sent to?
To a property owner, a resident. And so the well location is
Gotcha.
nowhere near where it is now. Where it is now, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, is on like the front lawn.
Mhm.
And where it's gonna go is on the other side
Behind the
of the
swings.
gym. Well, not the gym, the playground, like
Okay.
way on the other
That
side.
was-
The well itself is gonna be on our property, but there's this circle that goes around it, and the circle kind of catches up on somebody's property by just like a number of feet. The companies, the Northeast Water basically said it's not really developable land, it's just sort of like this wooded area, so they didn't think there would be much of an issue with it, but I've heard of crazier things. I haven't seen.
Have they started that process?
Uh,
Have they approached the
Yes,
owner?
yep, yep,
Do we feel like there's gonna be an issue?
not that I know of, and
Okay.
I haven't heard anything though.
Cause the owner could just wake up and say, I don't,
Sure they could.
even though it's not buildable, I don't want you on my property.
Sure they could. I think there would be maybe a mechanism for them to redesign and adjust it maybe,
Okay.
but the letter went out. Actually, 2 letters went out because there was a first draft that we sent out as soon as we could, and then there was an edited version, revised version, and the second one went out like.
There's been no response from the owner?
There may have been, but that's all going through like planning and developing in Dan's office, so I don't really see those things.
When you say you're waiting for approval, like we're just waiting for approvals, is it the Rido Northeast conversation.
So Northeast is doing all the application stuff. They're the people who service our well. They've been servicing it forever. Any work that we've ever done, they're the ones involved. They submitted the application to Rido. And then it's just this questioning and comment period where they just keep asking questions. There's not a lot of them, it's like, a dozen, half dozen. We're just waiting for them to be, you've satisfied all our requests. Now the next thing is whatever the next thing is. Those are the big projects. We have little things like, we've done some rooftop units, we've done some other things, but these are the biggest ones. And Steve's involved in, specifically involved in the fire suppression and eventually the roof. Any questions about any of those? Okay. I don't know if there's any votes, right? There's nothing we're submitting, right? So I just want public comment there.
All right,
Yeah,
please step forward. Oh, that's something. Hey, what's up? You want to speak? All right. We'll now open it up to public comment. Seeing none, we will now close public comment. All right, next item, scheduling of the next meeting.
So in my last, like Google invite, in the description area, I listed all the meetings, so you can put them on your calendar. The only, thing that was brought to me was, a few members find, Wednesday to be challenging. And so they just said, would you ever consider changing it to a different day? So, it doesn't have to be discussed now, but we might want to at some point maybe just pivot the day so we don't exclude people from being able to participate because they have other obligations. I don't know how the new folks feel, like in terms of they having preference on days of the week.
Is Thursday a good day?
Not for me.
No.
It's not for us either because we have school committee twice a month.
It's the only day I can't do.
Every day sucks for me because.
So then you're Tuesdays.
Yeah, and Tuesday is the town council.
Sunday.
Tuesday could be done if we get it opposite of the town council.
Right, same thing with us.
Unless we
Can't
got
still-
postponed, like then it would roll in, but it doesn't, it's happened more than it should, but.
Yeah, we were just trying to make sure, remember, when we set the Wednesday, we could do
Mm.
Tuesday, just as long as we're ahead of,
Yeah,
you
if
know,
something's
the first
decided
Tuesday,
that
because they have the second
Oh.
Wednesday or something,
Mhm.
right? So we wanted to be able to put this stuff on their agenda.
Mhm.
So then this meeting actually should go to a Monday.
It worked
get
out
in front
fine.
of
We
everyone, so
voted
Tuesday.
today for an
Either way.
item for your
Yeah,
next
Monday,
meeting.
Tuesday. either.
Tuesdays no good.
So anyways, that's it. We don't have to do anything with.
We can't miss
meeting.
council?
So there's a text, I thought you just sent them all for the first Wednesday of the month, but you're saying that.
In one of,
something.
I
else,
can't
I'll
pull it
have
up
to
on
read-
here, but I sent you a meeting invite and in the note section, I listed out like probably
Gotcha.
15 different dates,
All right.
just so you had them.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
keep
I like
doing-
having them, like,
Yeah.
this was easy, all week I was
Mhm.
planning it, so this was very nice to make it.
What's the next date, Don? For the note?
Yeah.
4/1. 4/1.
Oh, April Fools.
Mhm.
And it's St. Patrick's Day, JP has us in council on St. Patrick's Day.
Well,
And then I'm gonna show up drunk.
I'm half. Just a good half.
Be first, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I didn't say you. Pass.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
There are council members who.
Yeah,
are
I guess
here.
that's why.
And not just on St. Patrick's Day.
I vote to adjourn.
Oh, sorry.
Let's vote.
So that's the end of that discussion.
Take you too long.
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Makes me too long.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.
Everyone have a great
Sorry.
evening.
We just exited.
Thank you.
Dan was texting me too.